Fight! 3, 2, 1, go!
Hello guys, welcome to a new series, Reality with PropPortunity. So in this series, we are going to cover on real problems and challenges that we agents face, and of course, real concerns that our clients face also.
Great. So I think a lot of times we have been selling house and helping our clients buy house for quite a long time already. So what are some challenges that you yourself have faced when you are selling a property?
Okay, maybe I can talk about one of the biggest challenge I faced when I just started my real estate career. A client contacted me. He has been selling his place for quite a while with another agent, but I think they were facing some challenges and difficulties, and in the end he engaged me to take over the unit. So I met up with him, I went to his place. So I took over the unit in bare unit condition. So of course, it actually took me a while also. For 1 or 2 months, there were quite a lot of viewers actually, but there were just no offers, okay? So after that, obviously I reflected and did some reviews on how come there are so many viewers, and I get feedbacks from them. And all they could tell me is just that they don't feel it, they don't feel the house. So I did my research, and then after that I realized that, hey, maybe what we can do is to stage up the place. And I spoke to my clients, and in the end, within 2 weeks after I staged up the place, we managed to solve the unit.
What do you mean by staging out a place? What do you do?
Okay, so basically from a bare unit, we put in furnitures and everything to make it really feel like home. Because ideally people purchase a place, it's for homestay, or whether it's even homestay or investment, you want it to feel like a home, right? So we actually doll it up to make it really nice to look at. Where people come in, you'll be like, this place has feeling like, okay, I like it. So how about you, Iggy? What are one of the biggest challenges that you face when you started your career?
I wouldn't say a challenge, but when you are facing clients that are buying for investments especially, you tend to have to be a bit more meticulous. Like even if you are not familiar with the numbers, you better be familiarized with numbers. Even if you're not familiar with the area, how is this going to be formed, you make sure you go and learn it, you make sure you figure it out. Why do I say so? It's because as an investor, even if let's say I myself want to buy a house for investment, I have to be very sure that what I'm putting my hard-earned savings into, my money into, is something that will be, of course, ideally if I can make a good profit of it, that is perfect. But most importantly, I don't want to buy something and then I don't even make money. I lose money overall because of all my accrued interest and stuff like that. There's so many things to consider. So as an investment timeline, an investment property for you to purchase, it's very important to know what is it that we're looking for. So the numbers actually really matter, and not like what you say, home staging. Yes, home staging is very important. When you're buying something, that's why every time when you go into a show flat, there's no show flat that's going to be not nice looking. That is the first thing that sells, and that is a play on emotions. But we have to always take a step back, and we always tell our clients always, like, hey, take a step back, think it through again. When you're buying for an investment, although it is good to buy something that you love, make sure the numbers make sense. Because if the numbers don't make sense, when you buy next time, in the future when you want to sell, you might face problems. And the keyword here is you might, because sometimes the area itself still help you make money. But I think that's the most important, that the numbers really do matter. So I've covered a lot about investors, but how about if those people who are buying for own stay, I don't really want to know whether I make money or not. If I make, good. If I don't, it's fine. So for your own stay buyers, are there any concerns or challenges that you face?
I think for own stay, for either own stay or investor, I think when we cover on our last series, right, we did mention that knowledge is important. So of course, for us, we want our clients to know what they are buying into, like in today's current situation, whatever they are looking into, is it really a good buy or is it really a good time? And then of course, I think one of the most fundamental thing is knowing their requirements and their needs. Because from there, that's where we will be able to tailor something towards their needs, means to find a project that suits them in terms of timeline and whatsoever. The serving time for a client to buy for homestay will take a bit longer. Generally, you have quick clients who can just see a property they like, in 1 or 2 months they can purchase. But normally, in real reality, it takes about 3 to 6 months, and it can be up to 1 year. Because Homestay, it's, well, a lot of emotion plays a part, because you're not only looking at facts and figures now. You are more concerned about like accessibility, like if I were to stay in this place for another good 5 to 10 years or even longer, where I want to be in this place for so long. So these are the things that normally Homestay clients will want to touch base, like not just about like facts and figures also.
I think another thing to note is because those people who are buying for Homestay especially, they tend to already own a place.
Yes.
Right? And then not necessarily they are just buying for their first, the first owner, they're not the first person. So when they already own a place, I think some of our clients' concern is how do they transit from one place to another.
Yes.
I think that's very important that we also actually share. And why I say that, because we actually was serving a client and it took us quite a while, because buying for Homestay firstly, so they have to sell their current place and then transit to a next place. And then when this timeline comes into play, it's always very important. How are they going to transit from their current home to their next home? Because we don't want them to have to touch their own savings that they keep for rainy days, or maybe their children's education or their parents' retirement sum. We don't want them to touch the numbers. So how do we then plan a timeline nicely for them to transit from their current to the next house? So that is always very important. So then the question of our client will ask, so should I look for something to buy first? Or then should I look for something to sell? Or should I just buy my place first? Later I cannot sell, then I got no money. So I think, don't worry, a lot of these style of things is us as agents, or especially what we tend to do is we want to plan everything nicely for our clients. Buying and selling first, there's no right or wrong. It really depends on whether you are in what kind of market situation, what's the current market cycle like. And that will attract what kind of people, and then you know how you can move on from there. And of course, I think that's very important.
So, of course, talking about buying house, I would say buying house is not difficult, honestly. Of course, yeah, it takes time, but nowadays it's really easy because clients are tech savvy. They can check a lot of transactions online. They do their research. I mean, if they're focused on one place, they can just go there, and if you like it, they'll buy it. I think more of our concern for us, or we will tend to want to cover more, will be the exit plans for our client on how they want to exit from a property. Whether, I think it doesn't matter whether is it for investment or own stay. We believe there's always a need for an option for you to exit from a property. We have clients that tell us that, I'm going to stay in this place for the rest of my life. I'm going to retire there, So we have clients like that, and a few years later they will come back to us and tell us that, I'm sorry Daphne, I'm sorry Iggy, I think it's time for us to find a new place. So what I'm trying to say here is that there will be a situation where you are forced to sell your place. For example, like if your children move to a school that's far away, you have to accommodate to them. So as we know, parents dote our kids a lot, right? So you will do things for their convenience instead of your own. So if you can provide them a better convenience, then why not? You will move a house for them, which a lot of my clients did that lah.
So I think that's true lah. So I think to sum it up, I think it's very important for us to always, as agents first, there's a lot of concerns of clients that might have. There's like money issue, timing issue, my kid's not old yet, my kid's still young. Many things, so buying is very easy, like we've always been saying throughout this whole video. I think the most important thing is for us to always understand what are your requirements first and foremost before we talk about anything, because that will be the one that gives us the direction to help you to transit your next property or even to buy your next investment property. So I think we've come to the end of our next series, our new series of Reality with PropPortunity. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please drop us a comment below, or maybe you can even just DM us directly. Bye!
Okay, I need to eat. Bye.